We got our meter man and we're looking at we're deeper in the cave here. So we're at 987 parts per million for CO2. Quality room air is somewhere around 600 parts per million. So we're good there. And then this is way low. This is actually, yeah, this is outside basically reading is 14.8 parts per million. So good work with the meter man. We're safe. We're deeper in the cave.
I'm happy to do the job.
All right. Careful.
There's a lot of nails. Well, here we are in the Tunnel of Terror in St. Paul. The year is 2022, and I have not been in here since 2004 when this was fully operational as a Halloween attraction run by the JCs. It was a very different place back then. What I'm doing today is just kind of going through here and just looking at what remains from when the tour shut down in 2004. And of course, for those who don't know the history, it was an immensely profitable Halloween attraction for the JCs. But there were some unrelated smoke inhalation deaths in downtown St. Paul. The fire department decided that they wanted to put a kibosh on this whole thing because it was kind of like a trap if anything got started on fire. Well, so what I'm doing here is just going through, I'm just going to have the old JC's map here. The attraction, and just go through in order some of the places that used to exist in this cave. This one, our first one here, this is Frankenstein's castle, and you'll say, you know what, this looks like rubbish. This was the tallest structure in the cave. This was 3 stories high, so it went up quite a ways from here. And I think you can see these pillars here. It's, I think it was, you know, part of it has been toppled, some of it has been burned. I'm not exactly sure, but in any case, the old, you know, the glory days are definitely gone here. But this was like the first really big stage attraction when you did your tour in the Tunnel of Terror. Here we are at the next feature along the tour route. This used to be the haunted forest, and obviously it's just the skeleton of it now. But this used to, there used to be a lot of brush, cut by the city of St. Paul, and the JCs had access to this, and they could put leaves and stuff in here. This is one of the reasons that the fire department was so concerned about having a fire in here, is because you had this dry leaf matter. What if a candle flame touched it and it would just burst into flame and create carbon monoxide. So that's one of the, now up there, it's hard to see, but up at the end of the pit, way up there, at the upper end up there, there was a 6-foot in diameter blue moon. It was like it was illuminated. It was like a, I don't know what it was made out of, but it's obviously gone now. It was this big, circular piece of something or other up there, and was nicely illuminated. So you're coming through the forest and you see this moon, off in the distance. Another thing you don't really get the effect of here is right now is because they had a lot of the smoke machines in here. Not real, you know what I'm saying, with the misters that, you know, they create this like this misty kind of atmosphere in here. So there's always kind of, you know, misty when you were walking through here, and created, you know, this kind of, you know, this kind of atmosphere for you, this spooky atmosphere. Okay, now we gotta come here. This is the unholy tomb and sanitarium that we are in right now. This was one of the major attractions of the Tunnel of Terror 22 years ago when it was operating. It was constructed by a guy named Mike Camrad, and he devoted 13 years of his life, or 13, you know, Octobers, to building this enormous area back here. And he was very proud of it. And it's probably, if he ever sees this footage, it's still standing here. So, but it's seriously deteriorated. What you're looking at here, Mike was particularly proud of. This was originally the facade of a sanitarium. And he based it on photos of a sanitarium or asylum in, I believe, Danbury, Massachusetts, where he claimed, you know, the lobotomy as an operative procedure was pioneered. And he wanted to capture it, so this is kind of like the lobotomy loop of the cave, if you will. And this was, so you're entering a sanitarium or an asylum here, and you're going to be lobotomized. That's like what the whole fear is. And he had one of the actors here was named Gordon. It was Gordon. I guess it was a character from the movie Session 9. This is, you know, a B movie about a sanitarium where people get lobotomized. I watched it once. It's like enough to make you sick. You know, these cheap special effects of driving ice picks into people's eye sockets and so on. And so he had this Gordon as a character, and he would come in a wheelchair and scare people. He had a flying dummy. It would fly through the vaults here on a rope, and a big siren would go off, and there'd be all these flashing strobes and stuff. Would just hit you suddenly. You're coming through. You're in absolute darkness, and all of a sudden you're hit with this loud, noise, the siren, and the strobe lights, and this lobotomy patient trying to get at you. All of this activity was coordinated from what he called the Tower of Power behind me. This is actually, it's still standing. It's at present it's the tallest structure in the cave. It was well built. He put a lot of work into it. And he had up there his controls. He could control the music, he could control the lights, and all those kind of special effects. And no one could see him up there. And he could look down on you and see when you were getting to a certain part of the maze, and then he'd hit you with the siren and some of these other spooky effects. So he had really thought this whole process, this whole part out. And it's a shame to see that this is, it's in this condition now 18 years later. And it's just, I'm standing here basically on a plank of wood that's floating in a pool. This whole passage here is flooded with groundwater. So it's getting some serious deterioration has been going on over time.
Pretty flooded in here. It's a very wet sanitarium. Long ways up to the ceiling. All right, I'm gonna follow you out of here. So what is this place?
Yeah, this is the toxic waste dump. And they had some really cool
Yeah.
props in here at one time. They had like,
Yeah.
it looked like a green washing machine or something. It spray painted the washing
Oh, okay.
green, and it had like, well, you can kind of see that. So it's kind of like you're trying to indicate that it's like radioactive
Okay.
stuff, and you know these green pipes.
Well, this kind of toxic for garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, here, look, we got Love Canal right there.
Yeah, so they got some drums here, you know, with the skull.
So we're not going to do our drinking water out of those tubs.
Ugh. Yeah, that's
Pretty gross. Hubcap.
gross, yes.
Oh, more like old tires. Hey, this is an environmental statement right here.
I think we might go around that way. This is like pretty deep.
That's fine.
Hey, now we've come following the map. We've come around to our second great castle. We started with Frankenstein's castle. Now we are at Dracula's castle, or so they called it. And I'm standing on the stage, what we put the stage back then. And as you can see, the walls on either side are painted blood red to instill terror. You can see remnants of the system that was, this area was just completely enveloped, you know, with vapor or fog from fog machines. And I think you can still see some of the
Conduit?
some of the piping,
Yeah.
and they put it under the floors, and it was just like all over the place. Well, so what they used to do here, the really creepy thing about this Dracula's castle was if you look at like one of the walls here, you can see that it has like this stonework pattern to this red stonework pattern. And what they do with like the volunteers, the JC volunteers here, what they would do is they would come in suits that had that same pattern, and they would stand against the wall. So you're coming through here and you don't think there's anyone in the room at all. And then, you know, because they're so well camouflaged. And then, you know, at the last second, they jump out at you, and it was, that provoked quite a few screams, I can tell you. So, well, it's still here. Just the remnants of it here. There used to be a nice plaque associated with this castle. It said Vlad Tepes, which was, you know, the Vlad the Impaler, you know, was what Dracula's based on. And I see that I guess that's gone. Somebody removed that as a souvenir. And incidentally, it's very difficult to navigate through these areas here in the cave because we've been just encountering these deep pools of water that you're just the groundwater seepage kind of filling in. It's kind of a nuisance, but. Yeah, well, we came across this wheelchair in a distant part of the cave, but I actually recognize that. This is Gordon's wheelchair. Gordon, he was a lobotomy patient. He would sit in this chair and then he would wheel himself around and scare people during the Halloween shows. So I don't know, you know, they really wheeled at a great distance out here to be out, like, you know, half a mile from where it belongs. Alas, poor Yorick. They found his skull here in the cave. It's one of the few remaining artifacts from the great JC's era, spanning from 1982 to 2004. To recall those glory days of Halloween attractions.
Oh, we do have one leg though. We have a leg to stand on.
Oh, a leg.
A mannequin leg. Full scale. That's actually a very tall person. Hey, I need a hand. Wait. Oh, whose hand? Oh, it's dismembered.
Oh,
Ah,
that's gross.
sorry.
You know, this is from the old Tunnel of Terror
Oh, that's what it's from.
operation. Yeah.
So that's actually a prop. in
Yeah,
the
it's a
tunnel.
prop.
Cool. So we have a prop. It has fingernails and everything.
Yep.
It's actually got skin flesh
it's actually
color.
This is perhaps one of the most unusual rooms in the Marina Caves. It was not open in 2004, the last time I was in here, because I would have made a note. I made careful notes what was in here, and I did not come across this. That this has been forming for many years. What we have here is a pile of Platteville limestone slabs that have fallen from the ceiling. And if you look up at the ceiling, you can see you can actually see the bottom of the Platteville. Actually, what you're seeing there is the bottom of the second highest member. You're seeing the bottom of the Mifflin member of the Platteville limestone. What's happened is the Pecatonica member, the lowest member in the Platteville, has fallen down. That's what constitutes most of this pile. And because of the groundwater intrusion here, it's just covered with this milky flowstone, and there are more cave pearls here than I have seen anywhere else. You get these little micro-gower terraces, these you know, like this, all these little terraces, and kind of like coming down here, stepping down, and it's just covered with cave pearls, and it's obviously been forming for a long time. And so my belief is that this passage was deliberately sealed off by the management a long time ago, deliberately walled off so that you couldn't come in here, because they realized that it was a collapse zone and that slabs of Platteville were falling down from the ceiling occasionally. And so to remove that hazard, they put that wall there. But as I said, in 2004, it was intact. No one had busted through it. So I'm amazed to see this accumulation of flowstone, this deposition of calcium carbonate, all these little terraces and cave pearls here. It's just, this is really nice.
So here's some more pearls in here. Look at all those pearls. Holy mackerel. So these are actually really big, nice round pearls here. Wow. Look at that. Wow. I'm blown away.
This passage must have been sealed off when I came through in 2004, because I would have made notice.
So we got more bigger pearls here, cave pearls. A little flattened on some of them. Some are perfectly round beads. This little one here, perfectly round. This is so cool. Pearl, look at that. Pearl down in the dish. A perfect little dish for it. It's actually a hard substrate it sits in. This is wild. Woohoo! So bottom side of one of these slabs got that ribbing. Pretty cool. So we got a nice deep pool here, maybe what, 1.5 feet deep. And we got artifacts, we got a bottle. We'll probably have some pearls, but they're everywhere. So here are these bottles. I just pulled them out of the drink. Almost looks like an old 7-Up bottle.
So I think this is probably some kind of master build. That's why we got this.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Wait, no. No? I think it's an old grain belt pile. There's our intrepid explorer going up the stairway to heaven.
Yeah, you can see that from all the tea candles here, that this place is very well illuminated during parties. And actually, we found the sole inhabitant of this cave that I've seen so far. We saw a peromyscus down here just a minute ago. A peromyscus is a white-footed mouse. And basically, probably what it does is it lives on party debris. So, you know, people drop potato chips or Cheetos or something, and it can actually survive by going around and, you know, kind of scavenging on that material. But most of the so-called stairways to heaven in the Twin Cities caves they're barrel chutes in the brewery caves. But this wasn't a brewery cave at all. It was a sand mine originally. And so this one, so this is a little bit different, but this is by far the largest and best known one in the Twin Cities. We're just gonna check out some, let's go up here a little ways and check out some of that we've got here. Okay, this connects into another passage on that side. Okay, we'll get over here, up here.
Hey, if it's too hairy, skip it. We don't need a video of you with broken bones. All right, well, this guy's very brave.
Yeah.
Too brave.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, why can't you come down?
My history with this cave started in 1974. I learned about the stormwater entrance from other cavers down the Lilydale Caves. We brought a lot of people in here through the mid to late 70s. My last trip in was 1981 and the sewer entrance had been sealed. So this is my first time back in this cave, with the exception of one trip to Tunnel of Terror in like 50 years.